COVID-19 as of the 8th of July 2021, and this is just 5 to 6 days ago, actually. So here we're seeing some of the top 5 worst affected countries, and totally worldwide, how 185 million cases have been confirmed, and out of that, 4 million deaths have happened. The most affected countries are United States, India, Brazil, France, and Russia. And again, we're seeing 170 million recoveries, 170,000 million recoveries, but that still leaves us with 10 million people who are facing this disease around the world and still suffering from it. Now, let us watch this video on the Parashakti Akashic readings from the 18th of June, 2021. Yes, we can go on to the next slide. Now, let me just read the English translation, or read again, so that we can really truly imbibe Devi Parashakti's words. She said, "Still, you are not realizing the power of my words when I say Corona is very much out there. With the support of decision makers, rulers, people who are supposed to protect all of you due to their irresponsibility, it is there and getting more and more strengthened. It is becoming more and more stronger in multiple forms. And all other diseases which are waiting to attack human bodies because Corona had the immunity strength weak in human bodies. Human bodies have lost the strength of immunity power. All the multi-layer after effects and side effects of this pralaya in political situations, economic situations, social situations, mental situations, in every level cannot be described. Wait, this year, focus on keeping yourself alive." Devi Parashakti saying this is not a joke at all. It is an extreme heed to caution each and every one of us. And again and again, she's saying, you are not realizing the power of my words, warning each and every one of us the dangers of not understanding and not being integrated to what Devi Parashakti is revealing. The next slide, please. So today we're going to be understanding the 3 main revelations that Devi Parashakti had given us. So the first is how Corona had made the immunity strength weak in human bodies. The next slide, please. Devi Parashakti revealed on the 18th of June, 2021, that corona had made the immunity strength weak in human bodies, and human bodies have lost the strength of immunity power. Now, Science Daily, one of the most reputable science magazines that is available and catering to the public with news and information on the latest science news related and anything scientific, has also showed us different evidence on how a COVID-19 infection changes blood cells in the long run. And this was on June 29, 2021. Again, this is very clearly after Devi Parashakti had made this revelation. It shows here that new research suggests that a coronavirus infection alters the biomechanical properties of red and white blood cells, in some cases for months, a possible explanation for long COVID. Now, long COVID is something that we're going to be explaining later in this segment. But the first thing we have to understand here is that the coronavirus infection alters the biomechanical properties of red and white blood cells. Now, many of us know that red and white blood cells are a very important part of the autoimmune system. In fact, we can call them the building blocks of our autoimmune system. And they're extremely important for us to understand, for us to ensure that they are well and healthy in order for our whole body to work as well. So you can see here that the COVID-19 significantly changes the size and stiffness of red and white blood cells, sometimes over months. And the size and stiffness, again, is the biomechanical properties of the red and white blood cells. And it's not changing. It is staying in the same deformed way for several months. And these results may help to explain why some affected people continue to complain of symptoms long after an infection. This is what is called and defined as long COVID. Now, let us see what other magazines and other research institutions are saying about how corona affects the body. This article from the Academy of Medical Sciences says that the way the body defends against a virus is to recognize and neutralize it. However, an article by Forbes explains that corona suppresses the immune system by disrupting the actions of the body's immune cells. This immunosuppression allows for a 2-week incubation period, which gives corona enough time to attack the body. So this is basically the modus operandi of how COVID-19 infects us and makes us extremely weak, even after the whole system is working. First, it infects us, then it has a 2-week incubation period when it is making the whole system extremely weak. And after that, it shows it is positive within the body. And after that, people are undergoing symptoms long after even they're testing negative for COVID-19. So here we have that timeline in a visual format. We have the 2-week incubation period, and then the prodromal period, then the acute period, and then the convalescence. So this is the time when the infection is dying down. And we can see the slow progression of how someone is suffering from COVID and how this usually takes around 22 days to come in full cycle. And you can also see that the convalescence period is much longer than anything else, meaning that the time that the whole immune system is recovering back, even after the symptoms stop showing up, is longer than every single other period. Yes, the next slide, please. And also you can see the impact of COVID-19 here, where we can clearly see how COVID sits amidst other deadly diseases throughout history. On one side, we have HIV and AIDS, and the other side, the Hong Kong flu. And we're seeing how on the most deadly side, is coronavirus, and how it is extremely potent, extremely dangerous in the timeline of the history of pandemics. And further studies done by the University of Oxford found that the cells are profoundly impaired after recovering from COVID. And here's an article from the Immunology Network, a very reputable journal, again, on the analysis of long-term impact of COVID-19 on the cellular immune system in individuals recovering from COVID-19. And that reveals a profound NKT cell impairment. And another article from another immunology journal saying COVID-19 immunology briefing notice, where what we know about long-term health consequences and priorities for research. So actually we can see that many of the immunologists and the top researchers in the field are focusing especially on how COVID-19 is affecting the immunity and what are the side effects of COVID-19 and why COVID is affecting the body long after even the symptoms are gone and affecting the daily function of a person. And also the British Society for Immunology, that is the right-hand side article, has also claimed that the effects of COVID are far beyond respiratory health. It also affects the cardiovascular and renal systems. So especially when the COVID is defined as a autoimmune immunosuppressor, it can affect all systems of the body because ultimately when under attack, all systems of the body are becoming vulnerable. The next slide, please. Yes, and here we can see an excerpt from the research briefing on how the human body is affected after COVID. And the name given to those suffering from COVID-like symptoms after the infection has passed is called long COVID. And long COVID can affect the lungs, the cardiovascular system, the circulatory system, and it can also cause fatigue and inflammation. And one of the quotes from the previous articles from immunology journals are saying this exact thing. The exact example of how the lungs can be affected in someone who has corona. So on the left-hand side, we are seeing a pair of healthy lungs with extremely viable tissue. And on the right-hand side, you're seeing COVID-scarred lungs. And obviously, it really looks as though the right-hand side is extremely malfunctioning. You can see that there are more black parts. The parts are not as healthy looking as the right-hand side. And again, we have the subtitle here that says, in the scarred lungs on the right, there are much larger areas of darkness representing parts of the lungs that are having difficulty transporting oxygen into bloodstream. So obviously, if we're looking at this and how the lungs are impaired after COVID, we can understand how all the systems of our body will start to see the effects of not having enough oxygen in the body. And we also know here some of the symptoms of long COVID. Even after contracting COVID, your immune system is weakened and you are more susceptible to other illnesses. It here says that symptoms that can last weeks or months after being first infected with the virus. And multi-organ effects can affect most, if not all, body systems, including heart, lung, kidneys, skin, and brain function. So it really shows how COVID is an immunosuppressor, and people are experiencing the effects long after COVID is gone from their system, or long after they have healed, at least as far as their symptoms go. Their major acute symptoms they are suffering from. So now let us understand the second main revelation that Devi Parashakti had given, that all other diseases are waiting to attack human bodies. So here, Devi Parashakti is giving heed, is giving us warnings about the pandemics that are happening within pandemics. We can go on to the next slide. And the prime example of this is the black fungus, white fungus, and other fungal diseases that have swept through India, affecting recovered COVID patients. One of the most devastating things here is that 9,000 cases of this rare infection were found, and this is this is not very recent. It's about 1 or 2 months back, and we can see that even after the black and white fungus, yellow fungus cases are now reported in India. And again, how it's saying out of 5,424 cases, 4,556 patients have a history of COVID-19 infection. So what this is again showing is that there is pandemics. Literally how COVID works is allowing for other diseases which are waiting to infest in human bodies to start doing so and to start really taking over the human body. And that is exactly how black fungus, white fungus, and all the fungal diseases are working. Because of not having proper sterilization, the use of steroids in the medication for COVID, and also the high population of people who are suffering from diabetes in India makes the population extremely vulnerable to fungal disease. And here we're seeing some really devastating visuals of people who are undergoing the fungus diseases as well as COVID-19. Finally, let us understand how COVID is also becoming stronger in multiple forms. This is the last of Devi Parashakti's revelations, and we'll be showing here in the next slide how COVID is becoming more and more stronger in multiple forms. So other variants of coronavirus have also recently been discovered, and we have seen the articles, we have seen the news and the research by various different institutions showing how different countries have found different variants, and those variants have gone and infected others in other countries, whether it is India, Brazil, South Africa, or United Kingdom. As you can see the examples here, all of these variants are highly potent and being shown in numerous different countries around the world. And viruses generally mutate, but in the case of COVID, we have seen them become more dominant, meaning they're more powerful and likely to affect more and more millions of people. And here you can see a table where it shows us the variants that have swept the world. Again, in the United Kingdom, South Africa, Brazil, and India, with the alpha, beta, gamma, and delta variants respectively. These are all recognized by the World Health Organization and shown to be extremely strong and able to transmit far more easier than the original variant. The next slide, please. Yes. So the danger of these variants are also further highlighted and categorized. The World Health Organization categorized the Delta variant as one of the most highly transmissible variants of COVID-19. And this small infographic can also show us the 4 variants that are currently circulating, and we can also see how many countries have been affected by that particular variant. So there's the alpha variant from the United Kingdom with 117 countries which have reported it, the beta variant from South Africa, which has 122 countries which have reported it, and the gamma variant with 74 countries, and the delta variant with 104 countries. And we also saw how more than 4,500 sequences of the variant have been detected in about 60 countries. Studies suggest it is around 60% more transmissible than the alpha variant, which was more contagious than the original strain that emerged from China. And secondary attack rates have also been known to be 51 to 67% higher than that of the alpha variant. And this is all compared to the delta variant. And we're seeing a map of the tracked variant occurrences in all the countries. Yes, the next slide, please. Now let us just watch this brief video where Devi Parashakti reveals further on the other variants of COVID-19. Yes. Now, what Devi Parashakti said, the translation is as follows. Corona is destroyed, but it will take 4 years for the political conspiracies done by humans to end. I will protect my devotees, disciples, and Kailasavasis, but no suffering will come for my devotees. But it will take 4 years for the conspiracy of Corona to end. It will come to end only in 2025. It is a conspiracy, a human conspiracy. So the article here shows us how the third wave of COVID may hit its peak between October to November if the government panel scientists. And as per Devi's revelations, we can see from the below article that there is yet more of COVID to come for India. The article continued to say that if a new variant was discovered, it would spread faster during this third wave. With more waves of COVID coming up, what is the best way to protect ourselves? And we have to ask ourselves, does anyone have the solution? And the truth is that Kailasa is the only place that is safe, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only hope. You can sign up today if you are seeking protection from the rampaging COVID pandemic in India at kailasa.org/Kailasa-care. So please visit this website for more information or to register for the multi-layer quarantine residence inside of Kailasas in India. So there'll be all the information necessary for you there. Now, we'll be moving on to the next segment of today's program. In the next segment, we'll be understanding each and every one of the offerings that are available for everyone to do today. So with this, we'll now be taking a short break and we'll be...
Spiritual sciences unique to Hinduism. Subtle, otherworldly, but definitive sign. Manifest the cosmic beings in Archavatara, deities in Nijavatara, living incarnations is possible. Understand? Kriya Pada of Vedas and Agamas elaborately explain the whole science of making the cosmic beings manifest in Archavatara deities and Nijavatara living incarnations, both. During the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, literally those cosmic beings manifest through this body. Just like how they manifest in Archavatara deity, they manifest in Nijavatara, Pratyakshavatara, and give you all the boons you ask, bless you. You see, each God is an independent intelligence to lead you to enlightenment. Each God is a bridge for you to achieve the Shivatva, the ultimate Shiva consciousness. Krishna is the bridge for you to achieve the Krishna consciousness. But Shiva consciousness, Krishna consciousness, all consciousness is one and the same. Ultimate consciousness only. So that energy itself completely expresses.
Just like Radhika, when I see my own sweetness in the mirror, I become eager to taste it. I find that the only way to relish this sweetness is through the constitution of Sri Radhika.
Bhava Samadhi Darshan is a window to the infinite expanse of consciousness, allowing us to glimpse the formless in a way that we can understand. It cleanses the karmas of lifetimes. It awakens our biomemory to the space of Paramashiva, the ultimate consciousness, and creates a deep and lasting transformation in us.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word E-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is E-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasa enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers. Now let us begin the offerings to Devi Parashakti. Yes, now let us begin. Yes, now we'll be entering into the next segment in program on the offerings that you can do, you can manifest at the feet of Devi Parashakti. Now, in the Hindu tradition, the offerings are a part of the Hindu tradition, whether it is for our birthdays or for our anniversaries, for every new year or any celebration in our lives. We often have the habit of inviting God, inviting the divine cosmic beings to be with us and to guide us, thank them for guiding us thus far, and request their blessings and guidance further in our lives. And whatever it is, we always seek the blessings of the divine, and we have such deep personal sentiments for the divine. And that is where this tradition of offerings comes from. It is a deep, sacred sentiment and a way to feel the deep feeling of oneness with the divine cosmic beings. And first of all, the significance of the offerings is actually entirely a part of the Leela that the avatar plays when he is landing on planet Earth. And every offering is simply a part of that Leela of enlightenment. And every offering is out of complete love, gratitude, and oneness with the divine, and not out of any kind of fear or greed. So now, let us chant the Dhyana Shloka for Manonmani from the Moolagama. And we can Devi Parashakti, all the offerings that we can offer today to Devi Parashakti. So let us chant this Dhyana Shloka. Indu nivabeda karavahni yanam syat pankaja varabhaya japakshara saryaguptam angahima bhushana vichitra vasanam syat Tungamukatojjvala manonmani swarupam. The next slide, please. The English translation. Moon-like face holding the Vedas on hand and fire in eyes, with the lotus flower gracing and blessing hands, and one hand with the japamala, beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments in wonderful clothes and shining bright crown. Her name is Manonmani. Now I'll be chanting the next Dhyana shloka, a part of the Moolagama. Dhyaye devim trinetram shashi nibavadanam vedahastam dadanam savye padmam varadam apare chabayam chakshamalam divyerabarana vibhushita tanum brahmadi vipujitam devimeva manonmanim pratidinam kamatra datrim shubham. And the English translation. I meditate on Devi with 3 eyes glowing like a moon and holding the Vedas, lotus and gracing with blessing and gracing hands. She is wearing beautiful ornaments and she is worshipped by Brahma and other many gods and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day. Now, the significance of the divine element gold. This is something that we must first understand before we are explaining to each and every one of you the vast array of exquisite offerings that you can make to Devi Parashakti. Now, in the Atharva Veda, chapter 5, verse 28, there is the verse reference for the significance of the divine element gold. And I'll just be chanting the translation. Triply born by birth is this gold from atoms of Agni is one. It becomes dearest to Agni, and one fell away from Soma when it was heard. One they call the seed of virtuous and powerful Apaha. Let that triple gold be for your long life. Understand that gold is a divine element. It purifies anything that it touches, and it is an element of spiritual significance and great spiritual power of healing and enlightening. The vibration of gold has the power to infuse sattva energy and positive thought currents in anyone who wears and anyone who sees or operates in its vicinity. Gold is present in all the scriptures and the agamas, including the Vedas, Shrutis, Smritis, Itihasas, and Puranas. In all the Hindu scriptures, it is abundantly displayed that gold is the most auspicious and pure metal which purifies our being. In the Hindu civilization, everything was built and exchanged in gold, and ritual feasts were even offered in gold bricks. And when one was to be saved from life-threatening illnesses, gold was offered as a ritual fee. Gold was in abundance and used for weighing equivalent amounts of commodities, including pounds. And kingdoms were built in with huge doors. The streets would have huge columns and huge archways made of gold. And even the horses and cows, which all were living in coexistence, were dressed in gold. The Hindu civilization thrived on the banks of the rivers of gold. The Indus River was called the Hiranyamaya and in the Rig Veda, and the river Saraswati was called the Hiranyavartani in the Atharva Veda. Gold is a supreme element for offering gifts to the ones you love and revere. And temples are constructed and paved in gold. Deities are made in gold and decked and adorned in gold. Because it preserves the enlightenment energy for thousands of years, it lasts forever. So please understand that gold has such high significance. And our Vedic rishis, the ancient scientists of the Vedic civilization, had understood this, and that's why applied it in all different ways. And of course, it was told by Paramashiva himself that gold has such high spiritual potency, has high spiritual properties, and was so significant in spirituality as being a superconductor for enlightenment energy within inside each and every one of us. And that is how all different areas of the civilization, including the animals, the economy, the architecture, the arts, everything had some layer of gold in it. It was applied and placed in all different directions. That is why the Hindu civilization was the enlightenment civilization, because of how they literally recognized the amount of beauty and the science of enlightenment, and they applied it in all different aspects, including in the offerings that one gives to the ones that they love and revere, including the divine cosmic beings, the gods and goddesses. In our day and age, yes, the gold is actually a gift that we offer to our loved ones, perhaps in a piece of jewelry or something like that. But we often miss the divine qualities that gold holds, the extremely powerful way of how gold is a holder, a superconductor of enlightenment energy. Yes, now let us understand the first offering that we have for each and every one of you today. The first offering is the E-Hundi offering. Now let me chant Pramana. Bhakti Priya, Bhakti Ghamya, Bhakti Vashya Bhayapaha, Shambhavi Sharadaradhya Sharvani Sharmadayini. And the English translation goes, Devi is fond of true devotion and is realized through true devotion. She can be won over through true devotion, and she removes all fears. Now in this verse, we understand that Devi can remove all the fear of anyone. If there is fear in your mind, she can remove that simply. And she is the one who carries us deeply and is so compassionate. Just if you have just a mere ounce or shred of devotion in your heart, she literally removes all fears from you and bestows her ultimate compassion. And also it is stated that Devi is worshipped in autumn. Now, this does not mean the season autumn that comes every single year, but it means the time in our lives when the thoughts turn more and more inwards, and the role of divine is known and understood clearly. The need for Devi worship becomes stronger. So you can offer the E-Hundi offering. It is a extremely easy offering that you can make. And many of us have the beautiful sacred sentiment of every time we go to the temple, we offer the Hundi offering. We just offer a few coins or any amount that we feel like into the Hundi. Now, you can do that same thing through this in your digital experience with the divine, in this sacred shrine that Devi Parashakti has made available on all the different social media platforms wherever you are. Yes. And the next offering is the Sankalpa chanting. This offering is of the conscious resolution. I'll just chant the Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 12, verse 34, English translation. The goddess enchants this universe, and she herself gives birth to this universe. That goddess, being prayed without any interest in anything, gives the knowledge that leads to salvation and gives wealth in the materialistic sense. The offering of the Sankalpa, the conscious resolution, blesses the person with all the fruition of their desires and wishes which they are yearning for. So this offering is such a divine offering. If you have a conscious resolution that you want to declare, you can just offer this conscious resolution. Make sure that you, if you have any interest, go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings, and you can continue the next steps with this offering right away. And a conscious declaration can be anything. It can be that what you want to manifest. For example, you want to manifest Devi's blessings, or you want to manifest a certain job, or a certain amount of wealth, or a certain relationship to flower. Whatever it is, you can have that conscious declaration and that conscious resolution and seek Devi Parashakti's blessings. And surely with her blessings, you'll have all the fruition, the happiness and joy that comes with the fulfillment of that desire. The next offering is a very unique, very special offering, the Sahasranama Swarna Kasu. Now, in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Devi Parashakti is referred as Nama Parayana Prita, meaning the one who loves the repetition of her various names. So this offering is a ode to that beautiful sentiment about Devi Parashakti, and it is the gold coin which is inscribed with each and every one of Devi Parashakti's 1008 names from the Sahasranamam. So all of the names of Devi Parashakti will be chanted during this offering, and it will be offered directly to the Mahameru of Devi Parashakti, and you will receive the blessings to have the Ananta Kalyana Gunas. And actually the 1000 offerings are actually the offerings of Devi Parashakti, and all the divine qualities of Devi Parashakti. So that is what is the Sahasranama. And when we chant that, we understand the sacred significance of how the chant invokes that certain energy inside of us. And thus it invokes that energy, that quality inside of us. So in these offerings, it is a very beautiful science which the ancient Vedic rishis had revived, had consolidated from the teachings of Paramashiva himself, and thus we practice it as a ritual today. So this is a very beautiful offering that you can do. Once again, if you'd like to offer any of these offerings, you can go directly to tiny.cc/Devi-offerings. If you'd like a few brief steps of how you need to do this, don't worry, we'll go through all the steps at the end of this segment, and you can just stay tuned until the end of the segment. The next offering is the Mukta Anguti, a very beautiful offering, which is the pearl finger ring. Now, if you are a devotee of Devi Meenakshi, the queen, the sovereign queen ruler of the oldest ancient indigenous kingdom of Madurai, then you know that Devi Parashakti, manifesting in the form of Devi Meenakshi, who was the queen of Madurai in her time, as she was the living incarnation. At that time, she was adored the pearls, and all of her jewelry had pearls. In fact, in the verse, the Meenakshi Pancharatnam, which I'll be chanting now, she is referred as the one who is decorated with all of the pearls. I'll just be chanting that verse. Muktahara nalasat kirita ruchiram purnendu vaktra prabham Shinjannu purakinkini manidaram padma prabhabasuram Sarvabhita pradam girisutam vani rama sevitam Meenakshi pranatosmi santatamaham karunyavaram nidhim. And the English translation goes, I bow down to the goddess Meenakshi, whose crown has garlands of pearls and face like shining like the full moon, who wears anklets that are studded with gemstones and has small bells, and who is shining like the splendor of a lotus, who grants all the wishes, the daughter of the mountain, who is worshipped by the goddess Vani and Rama. I remain ever bowing to the goddess Meenakshi, the ocean of compassion. So this was a beautiful invocation of Devi Meenakshi. And if you'd like the blessings of Devi Meenakshi, Parashakti herself in the human form, for all of your business endeavors, for success in your career, and in the ambition that you want to fulfill in your life, then you can offer this Mukta Anguti and have the blessings of Devi Parashakti in your hand at all times. You will be showered with all of the compassion and the pure love from Devi Meenakshi. The next slide, please. And the next offering is the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the golden lotus. And this is referred in the Kamika Agama, one of the oldest scriptures actually. So it says that all the kalashas should be wound around with suitable thread and covered with new cloth. They should be adorned in the lotus flower made of gold. So this is the reference, perhaps the earliest references, which signifies the lotus flower which is made of gold and how that is used during worship. And not just here, but in so many places in the Devi Parashakti, in the different scriptures, in all of the different scriptures, the lotus is a extremely profound worship object, or it is actually considered divine in it. In fact, all of the worship that is involving worship of the ultimate Paramashiva involves in some way or form either the mudras or asanas or the consecration of the deities, all of which involve the flower, the lotus flower, and not just the flower, but also the leaf, the pericarp, and the petals. And that is why the lotus is actually considered a divine flower. So in fact, the Shakti of Paramashiva is also called a lotus, and the base of the Paramashiva linga is also considered as a lotus. The disciple of Paramashiva is considered as a lotus, which is about to bloom as well. So just as the lotus in any single pond or any place is actually able to bloom and have and radiate its grace and beauty, just like that, you will be able to radiate the state, space, powers, and being of Devi Parashakti in any adverse situation of your life. That is what the beautiful golden lotus actually represents, and what you will be bestowed if you offer this Swarna Padma Pushpa, the golden lotus. Yes, and the next offering is the Swarna Metti, the golden toe ring. In fact, the toe ring is a traditional Hindu jewelry which the married women wear, and it carries such significance for the married women. For Devi Parashakti herself, it is referred how Devi's speed brings utmost to the devotee. I'll just be chanting that verse now. Nakhadiditi samchana namajjana tamo guna padadvaya prabhajala parakrita sororuha. You whose brightness from toenails destroys the darkness of ignorance from the minds of your devotees who prostrate at your feet. You whose brightness from your 2 feet overpowers that of the lotus flower. The next slide, please. Yes, you can offer this Varnameti, this beautiful golden toe ring, Devi Parashakti, and forever your sacred sentiments will be at the feet of Devi Parashakti, adorning her feet. And you will constantly be in gratitude for receiving her blessings, even in the most difficult aspects of your life. Now, finally, the last of these beautiful, unique golden offerings is the Swarna Mangtika, one of the most unique offerings. And again, the Mangtika is the offering of a sacred piece of jewelry, which has a very deep spiritual significance. The Mangtika actually represents the nectar, which is overflowing from the Sahasrara Chakra. For those of you who don't know, the Sahasrara Chakra is the 1,000-petaled lotus at the crown of the head. And when it is open, the nectar which is flowing from that is represented by the Mangtika. There's such a beautiful significance that is brought out in the Hindu arts and the Hindu scriptures. In fact, in the Devi Mahatmyam and different Devi scriptures, she is referred and described as Shuddha Sarabhi Varshani, meaning that she who makes the nectar flow in all of our nerves from the Sahasrara, she who gives a very pleasant experience of the ultimate. And you can offer this Mangtika today and simply achieve that space of overflowing gratitude and the space of complete completion. It's such a beautiful offering with so much of sacred sentiment, and each and every one of you can have the blessing of really feeling that true sentiment, that connection to Devi Parashakti. Once again, if you'd like to go ahead and start making the steps towards the payment for any of these offerings, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi offering. And the next offering is one of the most coveted, the most precious offerings that you can do, especially during this time of the Guru Purnima Brahmotsavam, the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. Yes. We can go on to the next slide. Yes. So I'll just be chanting once again the verse. Nakadiditi samchana namajjana tamo guna Nakadidita samchana namajjana thamo guna padadvaya prabhajala parakrita saroruha. The illuminating splendor of Devi's toenails dispels the darkness of ignorance in devotees prostrating at her feet, and her feet defeat the lotus in beauty. So in Shlokam number 83 of the Saundarya Lahari, it states that the nails which have been sharpened by constantly being touched by the crowns of celestial beings who always prostrate before Devi. And that is this a description of the very feet and the very toenails which are bestowing the ultimate liberation, salvation, and supreme knowledge, and liberating us from that tamo guna, the darkness and ignorance. So Devi is the very embodiment of the remover of all of the darkness and attaining the ultimate knowledge. And as well as the Sarva Deva Devi Swarupa, the form of all of the gods and goddesses, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism is accepting the Pratyakshapada Puja during the Guru Purnima day. I invite each and everyone to participate in some way during this very celebrative festival that is celebrated across all sampradayas of Hindus. The last offering that is available for each and every one of you today is the Vastra Seva, the offering of the sacred cloth which will adorn Devi Parashakti embodied in the form of a supreme pontiff of Hinduism and will decorate his very body. So you will be able to receive all of the auspicious blessings with this offering. As you can see here, we have a table full of all of the offerings available for you today. The E-Hundi offering, the foremost offering, which you can offer for any amount and you can offer at any time as well. You have the Sankalpa chanting, the Devi Sahasranama Kasu, the Mukta Anguti, the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the Swarna Metti, the Swarna Mangtika, and the Pratyakshapada Puja, as well as the Vastra Seva. Now, you might fall into two categories as we proceed for the next steps in making these offerings. One, you might be ready today to make these offerings. If you are in the awesome, that's great. You can go and proceed to tiny.cc/Devi offerings and start taking the steps to make the payment and register yourself for the offering today. Now, perhaps you're in the category where you'd like help in manifesting these offerings. We can go on to the next slide. Yes, so perhaps you're in the category where you're interested in making these offerings, or you need help in manifesting, or you need more details in some way or form. If you need help in manifesting, perhaps you don't feel you have enough time to make this offering and to make the arrangements for the offering, or perhaps you feel that you need help in offering, or you don't have the money to offer. Now, you can start taking the steps to manifest these offerings today. Ensure that you are offering in some way or form to Devi Parashakti. You can go to tiny.cc/Bhavasamadhi and make your intention to make an offering today. This is a very viable step that you can take in order to start manifesting today. Manifesting what you want in your life through these beautiful offerings that you can make. Now, the online payment, if you are ready, is again tiny.cc/Devi-offerings. And please make sure that after you have filled out the payment registration form, you go to tiny.cc/Devi, you go to tiny.cc/Sankalpa 2021, and you will be able to go to the offer. You can ensure that all of your names and your family members' names are also chanted during the puja. This is a very important step, so please don't forget. If you are making a payment, make sure that you are filling out this form, the Sankalpa 2021 form, as it will take in all the details of your family member's name and your names, and the names of your, as well as different names that you, on whose behalf you are offering the puja today. So those names will be chanted and all of the blessings will be bestowed on you. So that brings us to a conclusion of this segment on the different offerings that you can do. And I'd also just like to take every one of the viewers through a very brief walkthrough of these links. So if we can go to the tiny.cc/Devi-offerings link, and we can be able to show each and every one of you how you can make these payments, how you can make your payment, what are the different options, and how it can be a very easy process for you today. Yes, so we can just briefly show each and every one of you how to make the payment today, how you can go step by step. Yes, as you can see here, we have the donation link. So any payment that you'd like to make is right here. You can see that there's a drop-down menu where you can select the offering that you'd like to make today. And then once you select that, you can go to add to cart. Once you go to the cart, you will be able to review all the items, different offerings that you'd like to offer. Then you can proceed to checkout, and you'll be asked for your payment details as well as your billing details, and the different information which is required. And then you can conclude the payment. After that, you make sure to go to the Sankalpa 2021 form. This form is very important. Yes. So as you can see, this is the payment, the donation link, and request if we can show the Sankalpa 2021 form as well, so that all the viewers can take a look at what form they need to fill in. You should make sure that you are filling out the Sankalpa 2021 form. And not only this, but if you would like to make an e-hundi donation or a donation for any amount, you can also use the YouTube Super Chat. So on YouTube, we have a very special feature where if you are a member, and we highly encourage that you are a member of the Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel, and you can make a donation through this Super Chat. And there are very easy steps where you can pay from credit card, debit card, or PayPal through the YouTube Super Chat. So as you can see, this is these are the links for your payment to make it a very easy process in order for you to make the offerings that you want to, that you can do to deepen your Devi Parashakti today. Now, it has come time, it is a segment in today's program. In the next segment, we will be joined by the Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham representatives and hearing the latest updates from Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham and the Kailasa COVID care which is going on. In fact, there are so many of the people who are residents currently of the multi-layer quarantine in Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham, and they are enjoying the different benefits, not just the multi-layer quarantine where they are absolutely safe from the ongoing dangers of the pandemic on the outside, but also they are enjoying the spiritual routine, enjoying the high energy spiritual field that is the Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham, where the very feet of the Avatar graced for so many years and had literally energized the area with so many different alchemy processes and spiritual processes. As well, it's the land and place of the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalayam and the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Kalpa Vriksha. In all these different ways, continuously the current residents of the Kailasa COVID Care campus in Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham are benefited continuously, and we'll be hearing from them in just a few short minutes, and we'll be able to be joined by them and hearing from them about the latest update going on in India. So with this, we'll be concluding this segment in today's program, and we'll be right back with you after a short break.
Spiritual sciences unique to Hinduism. Subtle, otherworldly, but definitive sign. Manifesting the cosmic beings in Archavatara, deities in Nijavatara, living incarnations is possible. Understand? Kriya Pada of Vedas and Agamas elaborately explain the whole science of making the cosmic beings manifest in Archavatara, deities and Nijavatara, living incarnations, both. During the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, literally those cosmic beings manifest through this body. Just like how they manifest in Archavatara, deity, they manifest in Nijavatara, Pratyakshavatara, and give you all the boons you ask, bless you. You see, each God is an independent intelligence to lead you to enlightenment. Each God is a bridge for you to achieve the Shivatva, the ultimate Shiva consciousness. Krishna is the bridge for you to achieve the Krishna consciousness. But the Shiva consciousness, Krishna consciousness, all consciousness is one and the same. Ultimate consciousness only. So that energy itself completely expresses.
Just like Radhika, when I see my own sweetness in the mirror, I become eager to taste it. I find that the only way to relish this sweetness is through the constitution of Sri Radhika.
Bhava Samadhi Darshan is a window to the infinite expanse of consciousness, allowing us to glimpse the formless in a way that we can understand. It cleanses the karmas of lifetimes. It awakens our biomemory to the space of Paramashiva, the ultimate consciousness, and creates a deep and lasting transformation in us.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word E-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is E-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together. We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become E-Kailasians. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. E-Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. E-Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones.
Nithyanandam, we'll now be entering into the next segment in today's program, understanding the different layers of the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Over the last couple of weeks, in the month of July, we have actually each and every one, Kailasas across the world, been observing the Hindu Persecution Awareness Month and bringing awareness to the genocide against Hindus, which is ongoing. Now, on one side, each and every one of us, Kailasians, at least, we know the immense amount of good the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has brought to the world, and his mission to uplift the world with the super conscious breakthrough. We know that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is perhaps the only last hope for Hinduism to even survive to the next generation. However, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone so much of persecution and attacks against himself and his character due to just the sole factor that he is the last lamp for Hinduism. Now, today we'll be understanding the different ways that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has always been contributing through Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu Library, which began all the way back with the beginning of the advent of the Avatar, the world's largest Hindu collection on Hinduism. Now, let us begin with the Avatar Leela. Now, before we move on into the next segments, we'll be hearing from the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham administrators on the updates from the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham and the Kailasa COVID care campuses. So we'll be right back with you in just a short break before we proceed with the next segment.
There are some great spiritual sciences unique to Hinduism. Subtle, otherworldly, but definitive sign. Manifesting the cosmic beings in Archavatara, deities in Nijavatara, living incarnations is possible. Understand? Kriya Pada of Vedas and Agamas elaborately explain the whole science of making the cosmic beings manifest in Archavatara, deities and Nijavatara, living incarnation, both. During the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, literally those cosmic beings manifest through this body. Just like how they manifest in Archavatara, deity, they manifest in Nijavatara, Pratyakshavatara, and give you all the boons you ask, bless you. You see, each God is an independent intelligence to lead you to enlightenment. Each God is a bridge for you to achieve the Shivatva, the ultimate Shiva consciousness. Krishna is the bridge for you to achieve the Krishna consciousness. But Shiva consciousness, Krishna consciousness, all consciousness is one and the same. Ultimate consciousness only. So that energy itself completely expresses.
Just like Radhika, when I see my own sweetness in the mirror, I become eager to taste it. I find that the only way to relish this sweetness is through the constitution of Sri Radhika.
Bhava Samadhi Darshan is a window to the infinite expanse of consciousness, allowing us to glimpse the formless in a way that we can understand. It cleanses the karmas of lifetimes. It awakens our biomemory to the space of Paramashiva, the ultimate consciousness, and creates a deep and lasting transformation in us.
Nithyananda, the Yes, Nithyananda, the next segment is about the environment and the world and the animals, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the environment and animals today. In a first Bronx Zoo tiger, Nadia tests positive for COVID-19, develops dry cough, loss of appetite. A tiger at New York's Bronx Zoo has tested positive for COVID-19. The institution said that Sunday it is believed to have contracted the virus from a caretaker who was asymptomatic at the time. Two tigers at Virginia Zoo tested positive for coronavirus. Two tigers have tested positive for coronavirus, and the third tiger has mild respiratory symptoms at the Virginia Zoo in Norfolk, officials at the facility said. In a new release, officials at the zoo said that Wednesday that two Malayan tigers named Ocelio and Stubbly went through initial testing that showed that they were virus positive. It follows another case from last week when a Malayan tiger at Bronx Zoo tested positive for the virus. The lioness dies of suspected coronavirus infection in Chennai's Vandalur Zoo. 9 lions test positive. A 9-year-old lioness died of suspected coronavirus infection in Chennai's Vandalur Zoo, while 9 other lions have tested positive. An official communication from the zoo said that the lioness Neela died on Thursday evening. The animal showed some nasal discharge on Wednesday, after which it was given treatment immediately. However, it died. Samples collected from 9 lions and tested at the National Institute of High Security Animal Disease at Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh confirmed the infection. Three snow leopards test positive for coronavirus, making it the 6th confirmed animal species. Another big cat species tested positive for coronavirus, this time a snow leopard. It is the 6th animal species confirmed to have been infected with viruses after the human contact. 3 snow leopards, 2 males and a female, tested positive for the virus at the Louisville Zoo. The zoo and the US Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Inspection Service confirmed Friday. Second lion in Indian Zoo dies of COVID-19 and 10 more still being treated for the infection. A second lion at Indian's Vandalur Zoo dies after a COVID infection. The zoo authorities announced that 10 other lions continue to be treated for the disease, suggesting that big cats in zoological facilities may be more vulnerable to the coronavirus than the previously thought. Four lions at Spanish Zoo test positive for COVID-19. Barcelona. 4 lions at Barcelona Zoo have tested positive for COVID-19. Veterinary authorities said on Tuesday in one of a just handful of documented cases globally in which large felinas have contracted coronavirus. 3 females named Zala, Nima, and Run, and Kyumbe, a male, was tested positive after keepers noticed that they show slight symptoms of coronavirus. Gorillas at Santiago Park test positive for coronavirus. Several gorillas at the Santiago Park Safari Park have tested positive for the coronavirus, in which it is believed to be first known case among such primates in USA and possibly the entire world. An Ontario dog living with the 4 human COVID-19 patients is the first dog in Canada to test positive for the virus, but the researchers say that the discovery doesn't mean pet owners need not worry. The animal is from the Niagara region and lived in a home where 4 out of 6 people had the virus, according to Dr. Scott Weiss, the chief of infection control at the University of Guelph's